So I'm walking the plank with this video. There's a chance I'm going to end up looking dumb for this, but yeah, I don't really believe in the Pacers right now. They're 6-4. They've lost 2 in a row. Some of their wins have been very close. 1-point win against the Celtics, a 2-point overtime win against the Pelicans, a 7-point win against the Rockets, which was 2 points with about a minute and a half left in that game. Now, I will say first, they look like a modern NBA team now. Their threes are a lot higher. They're not last or second to last in the NBA in three-point attempts this season. Their mid-range attempts are way down. They're only shooting 9 a game, whereas last year they attempted 19 mid-range jump shots a game. So they're giving their offense an actual chance now. Speaking of that offense, it's a lot of pick and roll. It's a lot of Sabonis handoff plays. There are some crafty Brogdon ISOs where he slows down and then crosses over real fast, or just goes the second he crosses half court if he feels like his defender is asleep. And Brogdon has been great this season. He's been really aggressive shooting threes if defenders don't step up on him. And it's a lot of similar things with Oladipo. And Sabonis has his post-ups, he has his rolls to the basket, his offensive rebounds. He also has his sort of fake handoff plays where he then just dribbles in a line drive if he senses the big man is off a little bit. You've got McDermott flying off screens. There has been a little bit more off-ball stuff for Oladipo and Brogdon as well. I feel like Miles Turner is spotting up from 3 more as opposed to spotting up from 17 feet or so. He's up to 4 3-point attempts a game. There's a lot of things to like about their offense. I do want to acknowledge that first. And also, they have not had TJ Warren, and they've still been pretty good on offense. He's only played 4 games. All this being said, the reason I'm still not huge on this team is the same reason that it has been for the past few years with these guys. It comes back to the Turner-Sabonis front court. They need Sabonis to be good on offense. They need Turner to be good on defense, but when they play together, things get awkward. A recent example I have is against the Suns, where they lost that game, and the Suns were playing 4 perimeter players around DeAndre Ayton. It was CP, Devin Booker, Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder was out there for a stretch in the fourth quarter, versus the 2 big guys, and it forced Sabonis to have to defend on the perimeter. He was slow on a couple of closeouts. Their defense was forced to collapse a few times, which led to open shots because he got switched on to a ball handler and he got beat without too much trouble. And I feel like that's just always going to be there. There was a big play against the Kings late, which was a winnable game for the Pacers, and their offense was good in that one. But they didn't even have Miles Turner playing in the fourth quarter, which was a little weird. But Sabonis got switched on to De'Aaron Fox, and it was the big play of the game. Fox got by him pretty easily. He had a dunk, and that basically sealed it. They were in a position against Houston for the same thing to happen, and then the Rockets just didn't go at Sabonis, but just watch them in the fourth quarter. It's there all the time. It's Turner defending around the basket as you'd expect, and then it's Sabonis on some perimeter guy, and it's like, that's just going to be really tough to deal with. I mean, you can try to hide him as best you want to, and against some teams you're going to have a chance, but that's just tough, man. And they don't want Turner defending on the perimeter because then you're losing your best rim protector's main value. And then it's like, well, you could try not having Turner out there at all, but then you're just hoping that Sabonis can carry the entire defense, and that's going to be tough. And you could even go all the way to the other side and say, well, don't play Sabonis, put in Turner to maximize your defense, but then I'm not sure you can score enough points without Sabonis out there. I mean, one thing they've tried doing is trapping ball handlers occasionally, and I mean, maybe. They did have a couple possessions where they had Sabonis trap De'Aaron Fox when he tried to go at him before he had that dunk play, and it led to like Rashawn Holmes trying to make a pass into the corner, and I think it was Brogdon was able to tip it, and the Pacers got it the other way. So there's potential there, but you're just going to have to find a way to do that every single night because you're just playing a different type of game than a lot of teams with these 2 big guys. Now, Brogdon and Oladipo are good defensively. TJ did step up for them on defense last season. They hopefully can get him back and he can help them there. So maybe you can have guys fight on screens a little more, or you might just have to go to a drop coverage sort of thing when Sabonis is involved in plays, but even then, a lot of time it's power forwards that are involved in these type of actions, and well, better chance that that guy can shoot. So I don't know what the option there is, but to me, that's kind of the big question with this team is how do they make that work? And I think that they thought about this as well, because we saw in the offseason, they were willing to trade Miles Turner for Gordon Hayward. They wanted to go with 4 perimeter guys around Sabonis. And so now I think about their upcoming games. Like, they have the Warriors coming up. We'll see how they can deal with Steph when they have 2 big guys who don't really want to switch on to perimeter dudes. You would imagine Steph Curry could feast on that sort of thing. They're going to be playing the Blazers 2 games from now. He'll probably be matched up on Derrick Jones Jr. That's the one guy you don't have to stay glued to as much, but as the game goes on and suddenly it's Dame, CJ, Covington, maybe Gary Trent Jr. is out there, and then one big guy. They played Covington at center against the Raptors a bit. It's just like, where do you put these 2 big guys? Someone's got to be on the perimeter, and a smart team is just going to go at them constantly, and that's the gist of this team for me. Would also like to point out some of Brogdon's shooting numbers are not sustainable. He's shooting well over 50% from mid-range, over 40% from 3 on 7 or 8 a game. I would expect some of that to dip down. You can say that he's been a 50, 40, 90 guy in the past. Sure, but not on this kind of usage. So yeah, now all that being said, I don't think they're a bad team or anything. They should be a playoff team in the East. I thought they'd make the postseason going into this, and given the Wizards and the Raptors' struggles, they could even be one of the higher seeds in the Eastern Conference, and they're a tough team. I'm not acting like they're going to get blown out by all these teams who have a bunch of perimeter guys who can shoot. I just feel like this is the kind of thing that can hold them back. Now, at the same time, Sabonis can score on some of those dudes that are smaller than him, that are forcing him out to the perimeter. But once again, I say, Miles Turner, our team's super glued to him when he's on the three-point line. I think as the season goes on, they're not going to be as much, to be honest, even if his percentages end up being okay. And then when he's in the basket, then the spacing is killed. So, yeah. Now, in terms of like personnel things, what do I think the Pacers should do to correct this sort of thing? I mean, if you force me to say they have to keep one of these guys, I am going to say Sabonis. Again, because of the Hayward news, I think they would agree with me on that one. Now, even if they did that, it's not as if Sabonis' defensive limitations would suddenly go away. It's just, at least now he'd be matched up on a center, which makes his job a little bit easier. But with all that said, I'm not really saying they should trade Miles Turner to move Sabonis to center for just anybody. I mean, the Hayward move, all right, that would have been a move, but I don't know. There might not be a trade out there like that. So they might just have to figure it out with what they got. And again, what they have is pretty good. I think they should be good and all that stuff, but yeah, I'm just repeating myself now. So that's my take on the Pacers. We'll see if I end up looking dumb over this one. And yeah.